come back, come back, come back.
But you know, the suit can take the weight, right? So I take the tank, fly it right up to the general's palace, drop it at his feet. I'm like, boom, you looking for this? Boom, are you looking? Why do I even talk to you guys? Everywhere else that story kills.
That's the whole story?
Yeah, it's a War Machine story.
Oh, this is very good then. It's impressive.
Quality saves.
Holy cow, everybody. We finally did it. He is set up. He is in the room. He looks absolutely, truly menacing. This is a piece that I wanted for a couple of years. I have not pulled the trigger on it for due to I don't even freaking know. I don't know why. Yeah, like I really don't know why. I don't have an excuse for it. Just never did. So he's finally here. And I can say with the true, honest thought, holy shit. This is, like I was telling my wife when I was picking her up from work today, this piece is like, when you stare at this piece, it's like watching a movie. Is the best way to describe this piece. There is so much to look at. There is so much detail, so much texture change, so much intricacy in the sculpt. Franco Carlissimo is the one who sculpted this piece. Actually, it is a kind of was a goal of mine to own one of his pieces. He is one of my favorite sculptors in all of artwork in just general. He is a master at the craft, and to see it in person is just absolutely mind-blowing from top to bottom. And even without the base, this is truly an incredible Thor statue. So it's not just the base in itself, in my opinion, that makes or breaks this piece. Like, it is a thing that truly amplifies it to high heavens. And I can see why this piece truly put Legendary Beast Studios on their mark here of where all this even started. I know that Captain America grew a lot of hype, but I know that this Thor piece is what truly set them on the mark and kind of went all off. Some things I would like to touch up, though, real quick. We are going to be talking on more about this in the close-up. Like I said, there's a lot of videos, a lot of reviews on this piece. So I'm kind of just wanting to give my thoughts and what I really think about this piece. Because like everyone in their left cheek has seen this unboxing left and right. So kind of want to give you guys my thoughts. I think the paint and sculpt is absolutely incredible. I've heard people talk about that this looks too roided out and that it looks it's too much for certain people's opinion. And as I can see that, but personally, just my opinion, I don't find it an issue. I actually think it amplifies the piece, in my opinion. I think it really adds to the effect of how Thor is just this brooding badass of a character, and that he is not someone to be messed with. The MCU has kind of babied Thor for quite a long while, and it's actually crazy how truly strong Thor really is, and this piece really shows that as well. I think that the hair as well is very well done. And looking at a couple of these portraits, we will bring up close real quick. I think these are very well done. I think the hair and the sculpt on this is very, very, very well done. And the thing that I did notice with this, compared to the unbearded portraits, is that the veins here on the neck are a lot more prominent and more, I guess you would say, roided out, is what everyone's been saying with him. They're more prominent, they're more intense on the bearded portrait than they are on the unbearded portrait. I noticed that actually with when he had the helmet on is where it's more noticeable. I'll show you guys what I mean by that. Set this head down over here. And what I meant by that is you guys can kind of see here. Sorry, I'm looking at my phone trying to get this going. There we go. You guys can see the kind of right there. And when you look at the other, the unbearded portrait, you can kind of see that that neck, that vein isn't, it's there on the neck, but it's nowhere near as prominent. So it's very interesting to see the way that the sculpt went. And the helmet is just, it is so well done. It is a very truly incredible piece, like an absolute work of art. I think that some things to be wary about, obviously, is be very fragile with careful with the hair for people who don't own this piece. This reminds me a lot of the Prime One Studios Huntress with her hair, how it flows out and it's very fragile, but it doesn't feel as fragile on this as it did, say, per se, on a piece like that. I think the eyes are very well painted. I do see the problems that everyone does have with the beard, but it doesn't sway me away. I think it is, it could use work, but honestly, it is not a make or break for me. I think this is a truly well done piece. I love just the classic look of the helmet. I love just how this is just truly a classic Thor. Obviously, there's some switch outs that I really wish Legendary Beast Studios would have done, but knowing that this was the beginning of their time, of their kind of where they're getting their foot in the door and all that other stuff, I do see why we didn't get the switch outs as per se if we got this Thor piece today, what we would possibly get, which we'll be talking about when we bring this piece up close and I talk about it. So some other things to point out and talk about real quick here. Another thing that is just very well done, and one of my favorite, obviously, points of this piece is the base. The base tells a whole story of Thor. It is just absolutely insane. The World Tree, Loki, the giants, everything. Like, it is absolutely incredible. I love the Loki on the back and him holding the world. I love all of this. Like, it is just... It actually, like how people say it looks like a wood carving, they're not wrong. Like, it actually looks like just something that you would see, like, if you would go back into the olden days, or you look at just old pieces of history, or like just some like some ruins. Like, it's something that, it's very mystical. It's very breathtaking. And another thing I like as well with this is the red in the cape isn't just a solid red. There is some darker shading in there to kind of make the cape pop out a little bit more, and not trying to just get it all muted with that red color of Thor's bright cape, which we will talk about that cape later. But yes, this is an absolutely true work of art. We're getting some closer looks at the base here, just so you guys can get a little peek for people who haven't seen this piece before, and you're just happening to stop by my channel. This is just an absolutely, truly a beautiful work of art. The way that this was sculpted and painted, like I said, it tells a whole story. It feels like you're watching a movie when you're looking at this. Like, you're sitting there. I still haven't even fully took it in while I'm recording this video, all of this piece. Like, there is just so much to look at, so much things to uncover, and just, it's like reading a comic. And it's everything you can ask for in a Thor statue. Like, it went above and beyond things that I expected when seeing this piece in person. And of course, the beautiful runes on top to kind of make it feels like when Thor crashes down and he leaves that little footprint behind from the Bifrost. This is crazy. And how well done the paint is here on the discs of his suit, and the sculpting and the musculature and the body here. It's just very well done. I love the shine gloss effect that they went with this instead of making it matte. Very well done to kind of achieve that metal effect look. The classic belt, I love the texturing in this. Very, very, very well done. Those massive freaking thighs. Like, wow. Insane. The boots, incredible. They are actually, video does not capture justice, really anywhere in my opinion, on how well done the boots are. Like, these are an absolute, truly just classic looking Thor. Donald Blake is exactly what I see when I see this piece. For people who read classic Thor comics knows what I'm talking about. And taking another closer look at the hammer, this is the hammer you can actually put in the left arm, I would say. This says R1, but to me, when I stare right at it, this would be left. But this is truly incredible. Whoever holds this hammer, if be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. The detail in that is just super incredible. And a nice little attention to detail, kind of keeping that more comical look with Thor, is the way that this hand is sculpted. It is very different from, per se, if you look at such fist as the Legendary Beast Studios Wolverine. Definitely a difference. And definitely a difference in paint texture, like I did talk about before, and I have wanted to make an updated video on Legendary Beast Studios of how really that they've kind of upgraded throughout the years in the paint quality and really showing that difference of how well done it's changed. But this is just, it's incredible. Like, it doesn't have a lot of weight too. Like, it's not like the Prime 1 Studio Swamp Thing where these pieces are very heavy and you're honestly really scared. In here, this feels safe. Like, and I know some people have talked about the issues with the magnets and stuff like that. Mine don't feel like that whatsoever. It feels solid and really, really good. Here's more of that closer look, what I was talking about with the neck veins, as I was showing you that more prominent on the bearded portrait. You don't really see that vein on the neck right there. That's all I really have for close-ups of this piece here. Let's get a look one more time at these beautifully sculpted arms. Look at how intense those veins are. Good golly, this guy could crush your head with his thighs. Even funnier because I had to lube him up. Huh. Long story. We'll tell it up close. Incredible. Absolutely insane. You guys can get a better view of what he looks like next to Legendary Beast Studios Magneto and the Wolverine. And people are curious, next to Red Death from Prime 1 Studios. Pretty cool. Look at that base one more time. Look at that wolf. Very, very well done. It almost has like a, not like a gloss, like a wet effect, but more of like a glistening, almost kind of like, if you guys have ever seen those wood carving statues of like the bears and stuff, I'll put a picture on screen so people can kind of get a better idea what I'm talking about. But that's kind of the effect you see when looking at this base. Alrighty, everybody, we are back on top. And here we're just kind of here to talk about and give really my full final thoughts and just talk to you guys about this beauty that's right there. Look at that freaking Thor piece, guys. Just wow. It is absolutely insane to see it in the channel. Like, for the last couple of days, I'm still at awe and haven't been able to stop talking about this piece. Haven't been able to stop looking at it. This is up there with some of the craziest pieces I have seen. And I don't know. Like, it is absolutely mind-blowing. And I'll say right now, it is almost impossible not to pull the trigger on Loki. Like, I've been talking to my wife about it, and I keep telling her, like, the Loki's just like the Thor, and she thought that was a cool idea, and she's pumped about it, so we might pull the trigger on it, because she's a big fan of Loki. So, she was absolutely mind-blown by the Thor. I had her come take a look at it before I finished off making this video, and she loves the piece, and it was really cool to see her reactions and the things that she really liked. She was looking at that base like crazy. God, it's literally like, it's one of those pieces, like, it tells a story, and there are obviously some imperfections in the piece and some things we're going to talk about that definitely could have been worked on in the past that I know have been talked about, but like I said, these are my opinions, my thoughts, and I'm giving you guys what I think about the statue now that I finally have it in person and I can finally see us in hands. So, we're going to talk about the things real quick that I wish that this statue included and what would have made it a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I'm going to pop these pictures up on screen so you guys know what I'm talking about, because people that don't read Thor comics aren't really going to remember this. because again, this is something that's mentioned way later on down in Thor's life, but the Destroyer arm and his eye patch. That would have been really cool for instead of maybe one of these head swap outs, like maybe instead of having the beard with no hair, with no helmet, it could have been the eye patch on it as well. That could have been fucking crazy, and it would have, in my opinion, just made that piece go that extra mile, if you know what I mean. And especially if like you could pull out one of the arms and switch it out with the Destroyer arm, and there's different versions of the Destroyer arms you could have gone with multiple different ways. That would have made this piece, in my opinion, a 10 out of 10. Or if there was something with the Destroyer on the base. Would have been, honestly, in my opinion, made this a 10 out of 10. But otherwise, I love everything that they included in the base. I want to say Jornborn. I may have pronounced that really wrong, but I know it's not Stormbreaker that is in his hands. I'm just very bad with certain pronunciations and shit like that. But always give my best shot. That is a amazing switch out. The pieces are not too heavy. Yes, the axe is a little bit heavier, but it feels sturdy. It feels safe. It's nothing I feel worried about. The hammer, incredible. Like, the detail in that piece is absolutely amazing. I think that it is the perfect size. I think I am very happy with how big it is. I'm glad it's not bigger, and I'm glad it's not smaller. I think it is the perfect size, and the weight distribution was great. So the paint texture, or the paint quality for the skin, how people say he looks a little tan, I think it's perfect. I think the roiding out is perfect. It helps with the like I said in the we were showing off the statue, the more of that presence of how big Thor is. And what my wife said as well is Thor is the god of thunder. And so she said that the veins kind of remind her of like lightning and shit. And so I thought that was a really cool touch that she pointed out. I was like, I kind of see where you're going with that. And so I like that. And so that was really cool to see that point of view as well, coming from someone that really isn't as much as a superhero nut as I am. She likes superhero shit, but she doesn't sit there and live and breathe Marvel and DC and all this other stuff like I like to do. But it's a speechless piece. It's one of those where you could see as many photos as you want online. The presence, seeing it in person, is something else. To give you guys a size comparison, it is bigger than Swamp Thing. Like, at least by that much. Not by much, but that much makes a big difference. The base is very tall, and that helps add that, obviously, that presence to how big this piece is. But I'm going to tell you, even still looking at this piece, if it did not have the base, and I'm just looking at Thor itself, I would still be just as impressed with this piece. And if it had a base such as like Magneto or Wolverine, because it's not that, those aren't really, yes, the Magneto is technically a storytelling base because it is telling a story of something very powerful that Magneto is doing. And same thing with Wolverine, it has a lot of takes of where the Savage Land. But having that Thor and that full storytelling base, it's not a make or break for me. I think it is a truly beautiful Thor, and it's not just the base that makes this an incredible piece, is what I'm trying to say. Both of them are very just holy fuck types of pieces. And it's something that will never, ever, ever leave the collection. Now, we're going to talk about some of the stuff that I was not a fan of. At all. If you guys follow my Instagram, you saw my struggles. What the fuck is that cape? That was some BS. That was crap. Jay, I love you. I don't want to have to deal with that again, please. That was hell. I'd literally rather face the Godskin duos in Elden Ring than put on that cape. I'd rather do it without sleep pots and face them than have to put that cape on. I'd rather face Radon, Malkalith, any time of the day. with a stick. Then put that fucking cape back on. That took me 5 hours. It took me 4 hours to put together XM white suit Magneto for the first time with those instructions. Almost 2 hours for the Legendary Beast Studios Magneto. I can deal with that. I almost gave up on that cape. And I know people that own this piece can vouch for me about how fucking difficult that cape was. Why? Why? Magneto wasn't even that bad. I love this piece, but I swear, if I ever have to move this piece, that cape's never coming off. I don't care if I have the two people moving that piece, because I'm a skinny guy, and it's pretty obvious. So that piece is very fucking heavy for me. So, shit, that was annoying. That cape is so heavy. So you're sitting there like wanting to fucking die the entire time. You guys would have loved my reaction. Like, you guys would have loved, and it would have had a crack up laughter seeing me struggle. I looked at Thor and I grabbed the Vaseline and I told him, "You be ready, brother, because I'm about to lube you up." And I fucking got that bitch on. A lot of struggle, but we got him. So yeah, that's the worst part about the piece. I think the texture and the paint and the suit look incredible. There's not really things that I don't like about this piece. Like I said, the reason why I was not 9 out of 10, but that was really the thing. But that's just, I understand why that didn't happen. So technically, yes, it is a 10 out of 10. I think, like, there's not much I can find that I don't like about this piece. If anything, the axe does look a little toyish. After the more I sit on it, but it's not like a bad toyish. It's just like, when you see the detail in Mjolnir, you see the detail in everything else, it just feels like the axe was just not as more focused on, such as the other pieces in this. And then also the beard. We will mention the beard. The beard is a little bit of a lackluster. But, again, the beard isn't a make or break with this piece. Like, it's not something you're sitting there staring at. There's obviously different options. You don't have to have the beard. So, that's really all I have to say on this piece. I know I kind of rambled on a little bit on about it, and I appreciate anyone that kind of stayed with this. But I kind of wanted to give something different. I didn't want to just do another unboxing, because there are so many unboxings of the Thor. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to try to just kind of give you guys my own opinion, what things I really liked about this thing, and just kind of give you a perspective of the happiness and the things that someone loves of this, of someone that is new to collecting Legendary Beast Studios, but also at the same time, someone that's newer to statue collecting, that hasn't been into this game as long as other collectors have been. So this is a crazy piece. This is definitely something that I would recommend collectors to purchase that do not have this in their collection. Of course, it is a 1/3 scale. It is very massive. I'm pretty sure it's at like 35 inches tall, something like that. 18 inches for the base. So it is a very massive piece. It does take up a lot of real estate. I had to rearrange the statues, as you guys see on the top shelf here. I had to rearrange stuff just to get Thor on there. He is on a lazy Susan, so you can move him around and kind of just like look at him in awe if you want to. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this piece. About, I think, 4 years later now. Is it worth it? Fuck yeah. It holds up tremendously. Like, it smashes the shit out of some other pieces. This is like, it looks like a wood sculpture, like I said before. It is one of those pieces that is just so fucking amazing. Wow. Have a great one, guys. Let me know your feedback. Follow me on social media. I'll see you later.